there's one element there which is missing. In 1980, UPC had several unopposed seats. And majority of those seats were in Lango. And when you have unopposed in a parliamentary democracy, you don't vote. So if somebody wants to do the figures, you include all the voters in Lango on those figures of your 1 million whatever, and it will be clear. UPC won the 1980 elections. So we can't have it two ways, saying that, oh, UPC didn't win. Because another issue we can go to is the 1961 election. In the most populous area, people are being elected with 800 votes because of a very successful boycott. UPC losing that election won the popular vote by far, but used political means to address the question. So when we have elections, and interpreting what happened in those elections is very important. What happened in 1980, Lango voted before the election, wholeheartedly for UPC. And if you ask today, there are those, I would say, pretending to be the voices of the people of Lango. But honestly, I went into this election, one hand tied me behind my back, my feet tied together, and had a boot on my neck. But despite having all of that one, I emerged with 12 MPs. Albeit all of them from Lango. This should explain the whole issue of what happened in 1980, or people trying to interpret it. The most important thing to me in understanding an election, and those who say, for example, Semogerere won, what was Semogerere's agenda for Uganda? Those who have claimed elections, 1980 and the like, what was their agenda for Uganda? The UPC agenda, I can present it clearly, back to front, top to bottom. What about these other people who say they won elections? The ones who want to speak for the people of Lango, the ones who want to speak for the people of Uganda, what was their agenda? In this election, Jimmy Akena, UPC, came in with an idea that we can create an environment whereby we have to talk by default. But that meant securing enough votes to become a significant player. And when I made that issue, when I was reaching that point, I cannot reach there without an agenda. I must have a clear agenda. I cannot stand in front of the country and have nothing to say. I must come with an agenda. So I'm part of this issue. I'm correcting the history of UPC, but I am setting clearly what was UPC's program today for 2026 going forward. The reason I have approached it this way is that one of my ideas which came in our manifesto, and because I felt this idea was extra important, and that it could benefit the people of Uganda in ways which can continue for a long time, and not being in government, I felt it important that I share this idea. So I shared the idea with the powers that be. I was only surprised last week, a letter from the president, one of these blue letters, allocating land. That was not the intention. The intention on the Jimmy Akena plan was how to access markets and solve a problem which was there. They love the idea of solving the problem, but now on the question of markets, they're just looking at where do we benefit. Jimmy Akena's plan for UPC included Barara Airport, yes. But we also had Gulu, we had Arua, we had Soroti, we had Entebbe, even Nakasongola to pitch in because we need to supply a huge market like China. Am I annoyed? I am annoyed because I was not on the ballot. I'm annoyed because I was not given an opportunity to present ideas and plans which can raise the standard of people, of the citizens of Uganda. This has disturbed me. Another disturbing issue which took place last week, I think it was last week, when the president wrote his letter. And in his letter he mentions apologies for shortages of drugs. Honestly, shortages of drugs. What drugs are we talking about? When you have somebody who is on high blood pressure medicine, when you don't have your drugs, what risk are you putting the people to? I come from the train of thought that the people of Uganda are the greatest asset. Our duties as leaders is to make sure we provide avenues where the people's lives are secure. If you're securing anything or protecting anything, protect the lives of the citizens of Uganda. What happens when somebody doesn't have medicines? And the whole thing defeats purpose. The UPC program, the UPC plan, which we put in this manifesto, touched on the history. UPC's history created a health service which worked for the citizens of Uganda. And what was the core of that health service? The people. The professionals are the ones who run this health service. When it collapsed, the whole of East Africa benefited from Ugandan professionals. Today, we cannot even employ our own professionals, and then we say, sorry, drugs are not there. Honestly, please. I live for this issue that we should be working for the people. If the people are not benefiting, who are we working for? Our motto is for God and my country, but how do you demonstrate your love for God if you cannot demonstrate the love for the citizens of Uganda who is going to a medical facility and not getting the medicines? And the one hand in that docket says, don't speak to Akena because Akena is irrelevant. If I'm irrelevant, well and good. But if I have a point, if I have sense which works for the people of Uganda, then you should listen to some of what I'm saying. And this one obviously goes to the president. You loved my idea, your implementation is skewed. My effort is for the people of Uganda. To open China is for the people of Uganda. But if we open China, we have to meet the regulations. Some of the issues which I've engaged in proves that point, because whether we like it or not, to be able to export to China, we have to be able to meet their safety regulations. We cannot export a lot of things to EU because we don't have the quality. So, Mr. President, when you get an idea, listen to the people who also created that idea. Can you imagine that while I was going through this unfair, military-dominated election, I still had the presence of mind to think what would benefit Uganda. And I share an idea which should stand the test of time. Implementation, different issue. I can go further on this issue that history. When DP were in government with NRM, what policies did they bring? They failed to bring policies. The policies which ended up were policies of UPC. I will stand by that one. Rehabilitation and Development Plan and the UPC Recovery Program. Plagiarization without the concern. So, as we are now heading towards the LC1 and LC2 elections, which UPC intends to participate fully, but we raise the concern. The level we have been treated, the funding of iPod, which was supposed to be for parties, has been treated like somebody's personal purse. Mr. President said it was unchristian. We are now going to 6 years later. Is it still unchristian? Or this is being what? Last time I called it satanic. This is the context where we're going into the LC1, LC2 elections. We are going to go there and do our best, but we need to do the best for the people of Uganda and democracy in Uganda. And when I touch on democracy, how do we now get into this issue of, if we don't have avenues to express ourselves politically, to disagree politically, then now we even come to prayers. Prayers. If we call for prayers for people who are incarcerated, what does the law say even on treason? How long can you be in remand? I used to remember something about 180 days. How long has kids have been in remand? Oh, whatever incarceration it is called. We must at some point be able to have a conversation with each other as Ugandans. I came to this conversation with clear, bankable policies. Bankable policies. The fact that you jumped on one of them is proof. How many players have come with bankable ideas? How many bankable policies have been there? It's not in the NDP, it's not in the NRM manifesto, but it's in the UPC manifesto. And a clear write-up of how we can benefit. I put it there for the sake of Uganda. Are we able to have an honest conversation on the future of Uganda? Because I am very interested to know who ordered the boots to be in Lira and the boot which was on my neck during the election. The only person I can get that from is from the president. These people who are hanging around the president saying he shouldn't talk to some of us, he can choose not to talk to some of us. But I'll talk to him through you in the media. Up to tomorrow, I will insist what was done to me was wrong. It was wrong. But it did not stop me from engaging, did not stop me from putting my best foot forward for the people of Uganda. Can we say the same on the team of NRM? On other political players who want to provoke others into a situation where they can now descend and pulverize people? I'm not somebody who went for that bait. I will not go for that bait. But the conversation which we must have must be where the people of Uganda benefit. I've been insisting that at the end of an election we should be celebrating as a people. Great ideas would have been shared. Hopes would have been built. But we've come out of this election with a very sour taste. At least for some of us, the taste was very sour. You call it free and fair, I don't. I would use another word, but the word may not be broadcast quality. But the male version of cow dung was what this election was. Thank you. I'll take questions now. I have raised the concern that even resources which were agreed properly across board, cleared and passed, we have not received under IPOD. So I'm raising that concern. If I try to break it down, how much NRM spent in this last election, this money for the villages, I don't know for what level, billions. And yet the other political players, they try, even the little you're due, they're trying always to block it, which they did. Yes, we still went into the election, we merged with 12. And now because we merged with 12 people pretending to be, they're the masters of the game. Honestly, had I been on the ballot, had I not been frustrated, had the parties not been frustrated, we would definitely perform far better than we did. So our strength is not reflected in the actual election results. We are much stronger position. And those in the authority, or those who created this unrealistic or unreal situation should understand and should treat it on that basis. Because it's the truth. But we need leadership. We need leadership which is accountable. One issue which I object to this issue of queuing. They should actually do everything possible and let us have voting. These machines which we spend so much money on, which failed to work for the presidential, let them work for LC1. We've spent the money on the machines. Don't want them to sit there and get to rot. Let them work for LC1 election. Use the adjective of leaders. Yes, leaders in some level, but they didn't go there in any leadership capacity. Some were leaders appointed, but nobody with elected authority has gone to meet the president and discussed anything concerning UPC, to the best of my knowledge. I definitely disown them. If I didn't send them, they went for who? They went for who? When we were fighting these elections, we were all there. Did you see any of those leaders campaigning for UPC candidates? Defending their results? Struggling for them? Supporting them? After election, they're there now talking as UPC leaders. Where were you? When when we were in labor, you were not there. When the child was being born, you were not there. Now the child is graduating. Oh, you want now to go accolades? No. I have raised what we have. I have raised every political battle. I have been there. Every election, I have been there. Those who want to pretend to be leaders, please go to the ground, demonstrate your leadership. Come with something. Come with something onto the table. But those who went there did not represent anyone, or did not represent at least the thought or where I come from. They do not represent the political party which has stood by the people. They are not representing a political party which has worked and came with solutions which work for the people of Uganda. To date, there is no health structure which has been done which can compete with what UPC did. Up From the time I've been in Parliament, Dr. Malinga was Minister of Health. We've been rehabilitating the hospitals of Obote built. We have not finished. I've been in Parliament 20 years. We cannot rehabilitate what Obote built in 5 years. In the second 5-year development, within 5 years, those hospitals were built. It has taken us how many years to rehabilitate? The person who is now attacking me, Minister of Health, the president in his letter writes that, oh, I apologize for drug shortages. And you can stand there boldly, drug shortages. People are dying. We're out of lack of drugs. What do you expect the villager to do? You go to the hospital, you need a drug, it's not there. Can they create the drug? Can they make the drug? Can they deliver the drug? They can't. Who's supposed to do that one? The responsible government. Or if the government cares for the people, that's what they're supposed to do. As UPC, I presented a manifesto which could compete with what UPC did in the 60s. In the course of discussions, we toned down. When it became very apparent I will not be on the ballot. I repeat what I said earlier. I wanted to be on the ballot. I still believe I should have been on the ballot because I had something which I brought to the table. And to be on the ballot, I had to, the cost was not simple. So these people are going and they're talking for what? They're talking for whom? UPC, as I mentioned, is about the people. If the people are not being served, we have failed. Same last week, I was reading, and I also saw it covered on various news media, several of the public universities are understaffed. As UPC, I am shocked. I'm disappointed. Your greatest asset is the people. The higher institutions are sharpening your greatest asset, that they'll be able to contribute more to the society. And we're still limping around after 40 years in power, understaffed. And those kids coming out are going to be competing with a kid from China. We saw it during COVID. The world shrank. People are able to do things online. And we're not preparing our children for tomorrow. And we expect to compete. Our education system, does it make our children productive? You know, kids are going into primary one. Majority of them are going to remain in the village. But what have you taught them of how to remain in the village? How productive are they going to be? They're half-baked in English, half-baked in maths, and they cannot farm. Who's failing who? That's the conversation I want. As UPC, let's talk about what will affect people's lives. People who labor, who struggle, but the interest rates are not working for them. That's what you talk about. At least if you have that conversation, those are the things I talk about. On this issue, the opening, the blue letter which came, I have to talk about it because that is a genuine idea. And how many times do you get a genuine idea which strikes and resonates and is able to be adopted rapidly as a national policy? That is somebody who has taken time to prepare, to organize. And you're being treated like some sort of, I don't know what. I really want to know who ordered those boots on my neck. We talk about cooperation, but there are things which, if the president is wrong, what am I supposed to do? Or if I believe I have a better idea than the president on a particular issue, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to say, yes, Mr. President, you're right? I'm not that person. When it comes to Uganda, the people of Uganda, I can respectfully tell you, sorry, Mr. President, here you're wrong. But I have to tell you when you're wrong. And I have to tell you when things are going wrong. What has been done to some of us, what has been done in the name of democracy, what is being done on handling many of these issues does not augur well. Avenues where people could talk, iPod, what has happened? Years we sit, we cannot meet. We want to build this anger for what? Are we not all Ugandans? Or it is only just some people who care about Uganda and others were just supposed to be spectators? If that's the case, I'll still talk. I'll talk. When it's unpalatable, I will push it. And that's what I've done. Whatever the consequences, I will put it forward. Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Edward. Some of your
We have not discussed that. I have met the MPs elect, and I was trying to guide them. Most of the issue which I was guiding them is to beware of many of these loans which are going to be coming your way. So I was trying to protect their longer term interests. But no, as UPC, we have not endorsed the current speaker. So whoever is speaking, that one is speaking on their own terms. We will pronounce ourselves, but I really hope that Uganda can get, this is wishful thinking, but Uganda can get a parliament with a speaker who understands the role and the importance of a speaker of the parliament of the National Assembly of Uganda, where this is an opportunity where the citizens of Uganda should have their voices heard. Their concerns should be dealt with. But unfortunately, of recent times, we've had many members of parliament and leaders in parliament who are there as self-seekers, out to grab for themselves. No concern about the citizens who are suffering day and night. So my prayer is for Uganda, which works for all citizens of Uganda, including in the office of Speaker. I have been provoked. I have been pushed to the wall. Like I said, there was a boot on my neck in the election. I didn't expect that. I didn't deserve that. People died. People have been cut up. Others died on something which we don't understand. Mine is a policy issue, and I said I'm coming into this election with policies. Up to tomorrow, you can look at my manifesto. I will defend it. And you can check the maths behind everything I put in the manifesto. The maths was mathing, as they say. This idea which the president has run with, it is a clear example of where the maths was mathing. I was not there just for showcase or just to be there or to think that I should be president because my father was president. No, I came with ideas for the people of Uganda, well thought out, well structured, to make a difference. I didn't expect to win, but I expected my voice to be heard. Hence, to try and create that avenue whereby we'll be forced into a second round. Now, in the second round, my voice will be amplified, and that's where I could bring issues which could help the people of Uganda. The health services which will be able to work for the people of Uganda. Agricultural policies which will be able to upraise the standard of living. The issues of interest rates which people are burdened with. Those who even struggle to make ends meet. Somebody is doing a small business is paying high interest rates just to be able to survive. Those are issues which we should be debating. That's what I wanted on the table. That's what I put in the manifesto. And that's what I want to defend. Instead, they want me to be talking about things I don't know, things I don't understand, things I was never part of. So, it's wrong. What is happening is wrong. When we cannot pray, where do we go? They really want us to go out on the street so that they can land on us, but people said, no, let us pray. I've decided I'm also going to talk. Whether you want it or not, I'll talk. I'll be as civil as I can, but bring my points across. UPC did not come into this election to tear anything down. It was to build, to raise the standard of the people of living of the people of Uganda, citizens of Uganda. And I challenge anyone, look at my manifesto, check the math, check the ideas. Were the ideas useless? But when you run with my idea, obviously the idea was not useless. It was a great idea. It was a worthwhile idea. It was a bankable idea. That's what I brought to the point. That's what I brought to the table. And I think we deserve the respect for doing